Here are 100 important physics definitions from the Class 9th Punjab Textbook Board, PCTB, that students might find helpful. Physics, the scientific study of matter, energy, and the fundamental forces that govern the universe. Matter, anything that occupies space and has mass. Mass, the amount of matter in an object. Volume, the amount of space occupied by an object. Density, the mass per unit volume of a substance. Force, a push or pull exerted on an object. Friction, a force that opposes motion between two surfaces in contact. Motion, the change in position of an object over time. Speed, the rate at which an object covers distance. Velocity, speed in a specific direction. Acceleration, the rate at which velocity changes over time. Gravity, the force of attraction between two objects with mass. Weight, the force of gravity acting on an object's mass. Inertia, the tendency of an object to resist changes in its state of motion. Newton's first law of motion: an object at rest will remain at rest, and an object in motion will remain in motion at a constant velocity unless acted upon by an external force. Newton's second law of motion: the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force acting on it and inversely proportional to its mass. Newton's third law of motion: for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Momentum, the product of an object's mass and velocity. Impulse, the change in momentum of an object when a force is applied over a period of time. Conservation of momentum, the total momentum of a closed system remains constant if no external forces act on it. Work, the transfer of energy to an object by applying a force and causing it to move in the direction of the force. Energy, the ability to do work or cause change. Kinetic energy, the energy of motion. Potential energy, the energy stored in an object due to its position or configuration. Mechanical energy, the sum of kinetic and potential energy in a system. Law of conservation of energy: energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred or transformed from one form to another. Power, the rate at which work is done or energy is transferred. Gravitational potential energy, the potential energy stored in an object due to its position relative to Earth's surface. Elastic potential energy, the potential energy stored in a stretched or compressed elastic object. Thermal energy, the internal energy of a substance due to the kinetic energy of its particles. Temperature, a measure of the average kinetic energy of the particles in a substance. Heat, the transfer of thermal energy between objects due to a temperature difference. Conduction, the transfer of heat through direct contact between particles of matter. Convection, the transfer of heat through the movement of fluids, liquids or gases. Radiation, the transfer of heat through electromagnetic waves. Wave, a disturbance that transfers energy through matter or space. Mechanical wave, a wave that requires a medium, solid, liquid, or gas to travel through. Transverse wave, a wave in which the particles of the medium move perpendicular to the direction of wave motion. Longitudinal wave, a wave in which the particles of the medium move parallel to the direction of wave motion. Amplitude, the maximum displacement of particles from their equilibrium position in a wave. Wavelength, the distance between two consecutive points of similar phase in a wave. Frequency, the number of complete wave cycles passing a point per unit time. Period, the time taken for one complete wave cycle to pass a point. Speed of wave, the rate at which a wave travels through a medium. Reflection, the bouncing back of a wave when it encounters a boundary between two media. Refraction, the bending of a wave as it passes from one medium to another. Diffraction, the spreading out of waves as they pass through an opening or around an obstacle. Interference, the combination of two or more waves to form a new wave pattern. Doppler effect, the change in frequency or wavelength of a wave in relation to an observer's motion relative to the source of the wave. Electromagnetic wave, a wave that consists of oscillating electric and magnetic fields and can travel through a vacuum. Electric charge, a fundamental property of matter that gives rise to electric forces. Coulomb's law, the magnitude of the electrostatic force between two-point charges is directly proportional to the product of the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Electric field, a region of space surrounding an electric charge where a force would be exerted on other charges. Electric potential energy, the potential energy associated with the position of an electric charge in an electric field. Electric current, the flow of electric charge through a conductor. Voltage, the potential difference between 2 points in an electric circuit, measured in volts. Resistance, the opposition to the flow of electric current in a conductor, measured in ohms. Ohm's law, the current passing through a conductor between 2 points is directly proportional to the voltage across the 2 points and inversely proportional to the resistance between them. Electric power, the rate at which electric energy is transferred by an electric circuit, measured in watts. Series circuit, an electric circuit in which the components are connected in a single loop or path. Parallel circuit, an electric circuit in which the components are connected in multiple paths. Magnetic field, a region of space surrounding a magnet where magnetic forces are exerted on other magnets or magnetic materials. Magnetic force, the force exerted by a magnetic field on a moving charge or magnet. Magnetic field lines, imaginary lines used to represent the direction and strength of a magnetic field. Magnetic induction, the process by which a material becomes magnetized when placed in a magnetic field. Electromagnetic induction, the generation of an electromotive force, EMF, in a conductor when it is exposed to a changing magnetic field. Transformer, a device that changes the voltage of an alternating current by electromagnetic induction. Generator, a device that converts mechanical energy into electrical energy by electromagnetic induction. Electric motor, a device that converts electrical energy into mechanical energy by electromagnetic induction. Solar cell, a device that converts light energy into electrical energy by the photovoltaic effect. Nuclear energy, the energy released during nuclear reactions, such as fission or fusion. Fission, the splitting of atomic nuclei into smaller fragments, releasing energy. Fusion, the combining of atomic nuclei to form a heavier nucleus, releasing energy. Radioactivity, the spontaneous emission of particles or radiation from unstable atomic nuclei. Alpha particle, a positively charged particle consisting of 2 protons and 2 neutrons emitted during radioactive decay. Beta particle, a negatively charged particle emitted during radioactive decay, equivalent to an electron. Gamma ray, high-energy electromagnetic radiation emitted during radioactive decay. 78. Half-life, the time it takes for half of the radioactive nuclei in a sample to decay. 79. Nuclear reactor, a device that initiates and controls nuclear reactions for the purpose of producing electricity. 80. Geiger-Müller counter, a device used to detect and measure ionizing radiation. 81. Cathode ray tube, CRT, a vacuum tube containing an electron gun that produces a beam of electrons used in older television sets and computer monitors. 82. Semiconductor, a material with electrical conductivity intermediate between that of a conductor and an insulator. 83. Diode, a semiconductor device that allows current to flow in only one direction. 84. Transistor, a semiconductor device used to amplify or switch electronic signals and electrical power. 85. Integrated circuit, IC, a semiconductor chip containing multiple interconnected electronic components. 86. Capacitor, a passive electronic component that stores electrical energy in an electric field. 87. Resistor, a passive electronic component that limits the flow of electric current in a circuit. 88. Inductor, a passive electronic component that stores energy in a magnetic field. 89. Microscope, an optical instrument used to magnify small objects or details of objects. 90. Telescope, an optical instrument used to observe distant objects by collecting and focusing light. 91. Electric telescope, a telescope that uses electrically powered mechanisms for tracking and adjusting. 92. Electromagnetic spectrum, the range of all possible frequencies of electromagnetic radiation. 93. Visible light, electromagnetic radiation that is visible to the human eye. 94. Infrared radiation, electromagnetic radiation with longer wavelengths than visible light, but shorter than microwaves. 95. Ultraviolet radiation, electromagnetic radiation with shorter wavelengths than visible light, but longer than X-rays. 96. X-rays, electromagnetic radiation with shorter wavelengths than ultraviolet radiation, but longer than gamma rays. Gamma rays. Electromagnetic radiation with the shortest wavelengths and highest frequencies in the electromagnetic spectrum. 98. Solar system.